Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So today we're playing some 5-color Niv-Mizzet. So this is a deck built around Niv-Mizzet Reborn, which is the 5-color 6/6 legendary dragon avatar from War of the Spark. Has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each colour pair, choose a card that's exactly those colours from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand and rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this is a deck that's built around running as many different kind of colour pairs as possible and just getting the maximum value off Niv-Mizzet. So the reason we're playing this is we have a few new cards to showcase, but the main one is Ancient Cornucopia, or Cornucopium, if you prefer. And that is a 3 mana artifact green mana rock, so it taps to add 1 mana of any colour. It also says whenever you cast a spell that's 1 or more colours, you may gain 1 life for each of that spell's colours. Do this only once each turn. So the good thing about this in a deck like this one is that not only does it help ramp us and fix the mana colours that we need to cast Niv, but also that life gain helps us survive into the late game. If we have that on the battlefield and we cast an Omnath, we gain 4 from casting it, and then play a land and gain another 4. That's probably enough to reverse all of the damage that we've taken up to that point in the game. Similarly with Niv, play it as well as drawing lots of extra cards. You also gain 5 life, which helps stabilize you until you can start playing those cards that you've just drawn. So this is a very welcome addition to the deck. As I say, we are also running 3 copies of Omnath. That's our other card that isn't a colour pair. So that just is obviously a very good card. Draws a card when it enters the battlefield, then has various landfall triggers as well. And then in terms of our colour pair cards, so we have Vanishing Verse in black-white as a removal spell. Black-red, we have Molten Collapse, Pillage the Bog, which is another new addition to the format. So we have played this before, but just a reminder, it's black-green for a sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is twice the number of lands you control. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is a good way of just drawing us the cards we want, kind of getting us a Niv or whatever it may be. Then red-white, we have 3 copies of Lightning Helix. Then we have some green-white spells with Growth Spiral and Doppelgang. So Doppelgang's a fun one. XXX green-blue sorcery. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of it. So if X equals 2, then you create 2 copies of 2 target permanents. If X is 3, it's 3 copies of 3 target permanents. So it scales very powerfully. And then, if you ever resolve one of these, it's pretty much lights out for the opponent. Lila, Undefeated Slickshot, so another new card, 3/3 with Prowess, so whenever you cast a multicolored instant and sorcery spell from your hand, exile that spell instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, it becomes plotted. So this is a good way of just getting some more value out of our instants and sorceries, particularly in a deck where so many of them are multicolored. Another blue-red spell with Wandering Mind. Kolagon's Command in black-red. Red-green for Clothis. Very good graveyard hate as well as potentially a creature later on in the game. Deafening Clarion, good mass removal spell in red-white. Then we've got Supreme Verdict in white-blue, destroying all creatures. Nahiri the Harbinger, 2 mana Planeswalker. And then Escape to the Wilds in red-green. And Make Your Own Luck in green-blue, which is another new card. Again, making best use of the plot mechanic, just to help us get the cards we need. And if we can plot something like a Niv, then we can cast it for free and then get the value off the cards we draw with it straight away. So that's a very good addition to the deck. And then the single colour cards, as well as our Cornucopia, we've got 1, Analyze the Pollen. So this is both a good way of fixing our land in the early game, and then just fetching any creature or land we want later on. Up the Beanstalk, very good card, 2 mana enchantment when it enters the battlefield, and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. So this not only triggers off Niv, but also from our Leyline bindings and all of the rest of it. Then we have 1, Consecrate and Consume, which is technically a multicolour card, I suppose, and 4 Leyline bindings as well. Technically 6 mana, obviously comes into play for much cheaper than that. So obviously there's lots of different cards here, which is partly explained by the fact that we're running Yorion, so this is an 80-card deck. Then the mana base is incredibly complicated, so I'm not going to go through it all now. You can see it in the deck list, but lots of triomes, lots of dual lands, 1 of each basic land as well, because we are running Fable Passage, both to help fix our mana, to get those double Omnath triggers that are so valuable. And in the sideboard, we have obviously Yorion taking up one slot, Fatal Push as another removal spell, Rest in Peace is Graveyard Hate, obviously a bit of a nombo with Analyze the Pollen. Soul Search is a multicoloured hand disruption spell. Black-white, for target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, exile that card. If that card's mana value is 1 or less, you create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Obviously, this is not as useful often as a turn 1 Thoughtseize, but it does fulfill the colour requirements, so that's why we're running it instead of Thoughtseize. Lightning Helix, another one of those. Unmoored Ego, a scalpel spell for removing things from the opponent's hand, graveyard, and library. Another Supreme Verdict. A Notion Thief, which is a recent addition to the format, so 3/1 with Flash. If an opponent will draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, and instead that player skips that draw and you draw a card, so this is a good one to flash in if the opponent's about to resolve a big draw spell or do anything like that. Culling Ritual, another mass removal spell, another Escape to the Wilds, and then the Scarab God as well. A very, very powerful finisher. 5/5 for 5, helps gain you life and filter your cards, and then can turn creatures in graveyards into 4/4 black zombie copies of them, and very hard to get rid of as well. So we went through a lot of cards there, so do take a look at the deck list in more detail. Like all Yorion decks, it takes a while to go through it. But yes, it's Niv-Mizzet, Cornucopia, and some other new multicolour cards to help power up the deck. Obviously, we still don't have Bring to Light in the format, which is kind of the one of the key cards in the Pioneer version of this deck, but let's see how we can do without that. So thank you very much for watching. As ever, hit those like and subscribe buttons. I always appreciate the support, you know that. And yeah, let's go on to the ladder. Oh, this is a very good hand. Hopefully we will have time for more than the one match that we did in the last video. That was a little bit of an absurd one. Yeah, this will do. It's not amazing, so let's put back the Swamp. Hopefully Lightning Helix will keep the opponent off our backs for 5 seconds while we draw into something a bit better. Waste Not is a deck that has been doing the rounds quite a lot recently. Okay, well, let's just play the Cornucopia. They can just do their thing with Gaia Reach Sanitarium. I'll just discard Rafine's Tower. They shouldn't be able to do too much with 2 mana. Ooh, pretty Thoughtseize. Okay, well, let's just get rid of these 2. They can draw 2 cards. Niv-Mizzet now would be nice. That is not a Niv-Mizzet. Yeah, this... I don't understand why this deck is so popular all of a sudden. It hasn't changed that much. Well. What shall we put in? What's a... so culling ritual is quite a good answer to waste not. Soul search is just kind of meh here. Unmoored ego's okay. Yeah, just vanishing verse and stuff like that. Yeah, we have some okay answers to it, I think, but lightning helix and deafening clarions, just trim one each of those. Yeah, leyline binding's a good answer as well, actually. Yeah, we have some pretty good answers to waste not. We just didn't draw any of them. Three beanstalks, no way of casting them. That's not much use to me. Okay, that'll have to do. Again, no way of actually casting our... No way of removing a waste knot. Bank buster, you say? Okay, well... I am just drawing land at the moment, which is not ideal. Fine, let's just get rid of both of these.
Nightmares are the palette for my grief. I leave you with one last nightmare.
Okay, well that's pretty good. So, let's have a Niv-Mizzet. Gain 5. Grab 3 new cards. I'm just going to hold this Fable Passage, because I can't use it at the moment, and it's just good discard fodder. I do not expect this Niv-Mizzet to survive. Okay.
No one has seen my face and lived. I think. Let me pick your
Passage
brain
can go.
for a minute.
Your final terror is upon you.
Well, let's take down their Davriel.
Okay,
Now, I've got choices here. I could just blink Niv-Mizzet and draw again. I could pillage the bog looking for something else. I could Molten Collapse their Ashiok. Yeah, tell you what, I'm gonna cast... Lilla. Then let's collapse Ashiok. We get Molten Collapse back again.
I lost my appetite.
Right, I think a culling ritual is in order here. Not anymore, it isn't. That's interesting that they didn't choose to get rid of culling ritual there. That's not necessarily what I would do. Sure, you can have an extra card. So, let's cull. Take action. Pillage the old bog. That can go into plot as well. Let's have leyline binding, I think. They're proving ground. Okay, this is going pretty well. Ooh, Rankle's Prank's a good... well, let's pop leyline binding into play just because we can. Doesn't really matter what we discard here. Ooh, analyse the pollen's quite good. Well, let's start by pillaging the bog. Decline. Let's see if we can find a Niv-Mizzet. Yes, we can. Play that. Gain 5. Take 5 new cards into our hands. Yep. Whew. Spicy stuff. Okay. I think this is a reasonably good configuration of what we've got going on here. Obviously, being on the draw will be a little more difficult. Yeah, I mean, this is a deck that... The opponent's deck doesn't pressure our life total hugely, but, like, the Cornucopia there gained us, what, 15 life? You know, that's pretty spicy. No green is annoying, but this does have answers for Waste Not, so... Choose an artifact or creature. Okay, well, they can take my Cornucopia. Okay. Oh, the Thoughtseize bug. Right, well... Well, let's just get rid of that before it causes me any more problems. Well, I'm not doing much at the moment without green mana. Interesting that they don't want to take my leyline binding. Well, let's just get rid of land and... So they're almost out of things to do. Wandering Mind is pretty good. I can't cast any of these. Well, let's take up the Beanstalk for now. Till we can draw land. Okay, Zeotora's Proving Ground will start to get us there at least. Sure. I'm quite annoyed at losing that. Okay, I can at least just go and get a forest. Tapland is a bit sad, but if I get go blanked here, that's quite annoying. Okay, that's a good sign. What have they got? What have they got? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's quite annoying. So I shall just play Yorion into nothing. Because to be honest, it's quite a good clock on them.
The mask is scary, but underneath, I'm just a normal. Let's tidy up.
Zafriel by himself doesn't do a huge amount, because I'll just shove it under a ley line binding.
Ooh, sorry. Time to run again.
So they go to 5 here. If they draw with Lockthwain, they're 1 Yorion hit away from dead. So they got potentially 3 cards here to find an answer. Ah, that's really annoying. Why would you do that? Okay, well, we got there, but let's escape to the wild anyway. Good. Sure. Need to be a little careful about how I play these lands, just so I could cast Wandering Mind on turn 3. This swamp is a little awkward with Olnath in my hand. Now another Olnath in my hand. Just hope for the best now. So presuming this is Phoenix... Wonder what they've got going on. In which case, let's play Clothis instead of Wandering Mind. Hopefully I can find the mana to cast on that. Ooh, a sleight of hand. So, Wandering Mind leaving up. Okay, let's just chomp on their Ledger Shredder here. So if I play Wandering Mind leaving up green mana, then if I hit Analyze the Pollen, I can just go and get a basic land. Okay, Cornucopia gets us there eventually. Would prefer not to have to wait that long, though. So I do have the mana to Verdict soon. It's probably worth waiting another turn and get Cornucopia into play. They're not really threatening my life total very much here. If they get Phoenix somehow. I don't think they can, because it does look like they're going to treasure cruise here. Yep. Okay. Yep, let's chow down on treasure cruise. Am I just playing Omnath, or do I want Cornucopia first? It is good for the life gain. No, let's just get Omnath into play here. Shredder number 2 is building me up for a nice Supreme Verdict later. Right, so how I think we should do this is I think we should Fable Passage, crack for a land, Supreme Verdict, play another Omnath. Seems like a decent shout. The Leyline Binding's pretty good. Let's get rid of their Arclight Phoenix here. Cool! Were they hoping I just wouldn't notice that was there? So... Rest in peace. Unmoored Ego. And Notion Thief is pretty spicy here as well, actually. And then we've got 4 cuts. Vanishing Verse is good. Beanstalk is just okay. Leyline Bind. Anything that's Exile is pretty good. Clarion, not so much, maybe. Let's get rid of that. Nahiri's Exile based. Supreme Verdict. Yeah, maybe we don't want Verdict. Yeah, this is pretty good if we can survive long enough to get to where we want to be. So let's start with an Izzet Triome. It's good, that's very good. Get rid of that. Don't want it, don't like it, get rid of it. Hard casting Picklock Prankster is a move. Wonder if they meant to do that. Yeah, let's hit them with an unmoored ego. Oh, that's interesting. So they've kept that to their Crackling Drakes. Yeah, maybe I could have gone with Crackling Drake there, but... So they're going to start growing their Prankster. Start with Pillage the Bog, then they can negate that if they want to. I'm not hugely fussed. Maybe Molten Collapse here. Yeah, that seems fine. I'll just pop a Zeotor's Proving Ground into play. And then it's waiting for Omnath, I think. So this will get quite big. That's my take on the situation. Ooh. Well, that's fun, isn't it? Let's see if they have an immediate answer to this. If they don't, they are in a whole world of trouble. I don't know why you would wait and let me gain the life there. That is not very well played. You can kill it with its draw trigger on the sack. Tap out, tap out. What colour would I like here? Let's get another mountain. Play Niv-Mizzet. We'll do nicely. Stick a Jetmir's Garden into play. So we've got enough removal now that not hugely worried. So I can Molten Collapse their Crackling Drake, Vanishing Verse their Prankster. As much as I would like to just doppelgang their Crackling Drake, which would be fun. I think we're going to have to just kill them while they're tapped out. So let's destroy that. Vanish that. Oh, I can't pillage the bog. Okay, well I'll just up the beanstalk instead. Okay, this is all going pretty well. Cheeky. Maybe I could doppelgang it then. Well, if I draw an untapped land... Yeah, that's tempting, isn't it? I could make 2 copies of Crackling Drake and Proft's eidetic memory. Well, you only live once. Let's start by sending in Niv-Mizzet. And let's doppelgang for 2. Targeting Crackling Drake and eidetic memory. Draw. They might have enough removal to kill both my Crackling Drakes, but I think it's unlikely. Because they'd need 2 more Lightning Axes in their hand. Or like 4 different removal spells, and we know one of their cards is Negate. Shredder, sure. Yeah, I should have done the copying before combat there, because then I'd have got the counters, but don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. Treasure Cruise is pretty good. I'd let them grow their Crackling Drake. Yeah, they're not quite out of this yet. So I shall let them go to combat. I'll probably double block the Drake. Then if I have any kind of answer for Shredder, they just die, so... which I can hopefully find with Pillage the Bog, given I'll be looking at 18 cards. Cool. Yeah, that was very spicy. 2 spicy matches in a row. Okay, I think we have time for one more. This hand's okay. Be good to draw some more lands so I don't have to use up the Fable passages too early on, but... yeah, Sign in Blood. Okay, that's a good start. Do I Binding this away? I could do. Well, yeah, let's do that before it's, discard a Vanishing Verse. Otherwise, those trespassers are just super annoying. So they're getting rid of my Spara's headquarters here, so I think I'll get Plains? Yeah, that makes sense. Now let's go fetch a forest. Okay, now at least we have options for when we play on that. That's super annoying. Okay, so they get back their Trespasser, which now for some reason is also a Graveyard Glutton. Fortunately, I do have a pretty good response to this, which is to play on that. I'm going to play Niv-Mizzet, so I'm going to decline to gain the life here. Then I'm going to play a Hinterland Harbour. Fetch for a swamp. Play Niv-Mizzet. Gain 5 life. Oh my god, that's an awful hat. 1 card off Niv-Mizzet? What is this nonsense? Demand a recount. Okay, so what's next? Helix. Discard passage. Yes to gain the life. Attack for 6. Now, if Niv-Mizzet survives, they're super dead here. Okay. Well, that made sense. Right, so they're on a sort of mono-black mid-range deck, so Culling Ritual seems mid. Fatal Push I will put in. Notion Thief as well. Do I want the Scarab God? The Scarab God's quite good, actually. I'll have Supreme Verdict as well, so 4 cuts. Doppelgang can go. Nahiri can go. Consecrate can go. Maybe one Pillage the Bog on the draw. Oh, it's all done very scientifically here. I admire the energy of just fatal pushing your own Gifted Aetherborn. Well, all of these are quite good. Okay, let's have a Ketria Triome. Okay, what that is not is it is not another Thoughtseize, so let's just start building up towards playing Omnath. That is, however, another Thoughtseize, which is quite annoying. Okay, you may continue. So I'm gonna Lightning Helix that. Then have a think about whether I want to Leyline Binding. No, in fact, I might try and just ambush it with a Notion Thief instead. That seems fine. Yeah, actually, no, it doesn't, does it? Because it'll flip. No, let's get rid of it. Discard a card. Let's get rid of Notion Thief here. Now at least we're building up to playing Niv-Mizzet next turn. Stop thought seizing me! Oof. Ooh, the sheer rage. Okay, that I can live with. So let's do a setup turn here. Let's play Cornucopia. Into Clothis, gain a couple of life. Pass the turn. Okay, well they are certainly putting cards in their hand. That much we can say for certain.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
I'm going to discard
I'm tired of your secrets.
Vanishing Verse here, because Make Your Own Luck is just better. Fetch a land. Let's get an island. No, we don't need an island. Let's get another mountain. Doesn't really matter what we do here. Let's make our own luck. Gain life. Draw a card. Yeah, looks like we're plotting Supreme Verdict, which is not the best thing in the world to be doing, but... That was not very lucky, was it? I want to cast Niv-Mizzet! Honestly, these people. Just discard a land. Okay, I think that was premature based on what I had in my hand, but I'll take it because my hand was terrible. Well, that deck did very well there. Again, with, like all Yorion decks, the variance in what you draw is incredibly high, like, you know, we would have stranded with absolute nonsense there, but they did Thoughtseize us 3 times, to be fair. Excellent. Okay, yeah, Cornucopia, Copium did some pretty good work there based on just gaining us that additional life, giving us that mana boost. Yeah. Again, this deck doesn't yet have Bring to Light, so it's still slightly powered down, but that seemed to do pretty well considering. The sideboard's broken again. Anyway, you can see it in the deck list and at the beginning of the video. So yeah, here's the deck one more time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, etc., etc. I'll see you next time.